Here's what I'll say about the State of the Union. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because, in fact, I assume that you have heard plenty of coverage about it. It was, as everybody on the right agrees, and even some on the left seem to be saying, a wonderful speech. Donald Trump, as I've argued from the beginning, Donald Trump is much better scripted. His unscripted campaign speech ramblings seem to play very well to the audience that's physically in the room with him, and I think his base still likes it, but I think most people outside of that are pretty bored with it at this point. But his scripted speeches are often brilliant, and it's true that he doesn't write his scripted speeches. So this could be seen as another way of saying Donald Trump is brilliant when he's not acting like Donald Trump. It seems like a backhanded compliment in some ways to say, oh, you know what I love about him is when he's scripted. That's the best part. But that wouldn't be the correct interpretation, because even if he doesn't write the speech, these are still Trump speeches through and through, in that he is willing to say things and present things in a certain way that most other politicians are not, especially Republican politicians, which is why, and this is why I wish he'd give more scripted speeches, because as opposed to the unscripted where he's kind of rambling and going in a million different directions, you don't really take anything from it. There's no message. There's no coherent message in it. With the scripted speeches, if he stays on the script and he's willing to let someone help him formulate it, he's willing to say things. He can get a message across, and he's willing to put things in a certain way that can be very valuable, and that other politicians, other Republicans won't do. So during the State of the Union address, not just this one, but his other State of the Union addresses, we hear things about abortion, protecting life, the family, protecting religious liberty, that we wouldn't hear from other Republicans, except in a very roundabout way. They would allude to it. But Trump just goes right into it and talks about it in a style we wouldn't hear from anybody else. But sometimes, though, it's kind of subtle, which is surprising because you don't expect to hear the word subtle and Trump used in the same sentence. But I'll play a clip for you from last night. I'm only going to play a couple of clips, but this is him talking about late-term abortion, and there was something subtle in this, maybe you'll pick up on, that I thought was really good. Listen to this.
That is why I'm also calling upon members of Congress here tonight to pass legislation finally banning the late-term abortion of babies. Whether we are Republican, Democrat, or Independent, surely we must all agree that every human life is a sacred gift from God. As we support America's moms and dads, I was recently proud to sign the law providing new parents in the federal workforce paid family leave, serving as a model for the rest of the country.
Okay, so he's talking about late-term abortion, which is something that no other Republican would do in a State of the Union address. That's not the subtle part. But notice how he throws in the word, or the phrase, of babies. He says late-term abortion of babies. That's, as I said, subtle, but it's a very important thing to add. Because what are we talking about when we say abortion? Because the word abortion sounds impersonal, sounds abstract, detached. Abortion. It just sounds like this thing that's hanging out there. It doesn't really affect anybody. But in fact, it is an act that happens to someone, right? And to whom? Babies. So to say that, to make sure you say that, the late-term abortion of babies, not late-term abortion in general, not late-term abortion of fetuses or of pregnancies, but of babies. So I thought that was good. And then there was his addressing of religious liberty, and this is not so subtle, which is good. I'm glad it wasn't. In fact, he's going right at the issue, using phrases like, "In America, we celebrate faith and cherish religion." And this, again, is handled in a way that I think only Trump would handle it. Listen to this.
In America, we don't punish prayer. We don't tear down crosses. We don't ban symbols of faith. We don't muzzle preachers and pastors. In America, we celebrate faith. We cherish religion. We lift our voices in prayer, and we raise our sights to the glory of God. Just as we believe in the First Amendment, we also believe in another constitutional right that is under siege all across our country. So long as I am president, I will always protect your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
So for me, these are the highlights. These are the take-homes, right? These are the things that we should remember. Although I think most people, of course, will remember, as far as what happened in the speech, most people are going to remember this the most.
For the past 7 months, she has done it all while her husband, Sergeant First Class Townsend Williams, is in Afghanistan on his 4th deployment in the Middle East. But Amy, there is one more thing. Tonight, we have a very special surprise. I am thrilled to inform you that your husband is back from deployment. He is here with us tonight, and we couldn't keep him waiting any longer.
Obviously a beautiful moment there. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.